Herzlich willkommen zur zweiten Episode von Postmortem. Ich habe gerade gesehen, in unserem Notebook haben wir jetzt den Gary drin. Und ich will zum Schluss noch lesen. After speaking with you, he was intrigued by your defense of peaceful diplomacy as means of bringing change. Das heisst, wir können wahrscheinlich auch Einfluss nehmen auf die Meinungen und Einstellungen der Leute, wenn wir mit ihnen reden. Was ich sehr interesting finde. Untersuchen wir doch einmal, was da ist. Exploring the roots of the Galician conflict. It's been almost 5 years since John Pieka Pigarczyk, a local baker from city of Lauren, was shot by an angry customer following a heated argument over the definition of Galicia's traditional holiday bread. While the incident may seem ridiculous in retrospect, its impact was significant. Mobs soon took the streets, sparking violence and turmoil that quickly spread through Galicia. This baker revolt is symbolic of the many questions quietly brewing over the past few decades. What defines a true Galician? Are the factories bringing us steady work and affordable necessities, or exploiting our rights and producing generic goods? Are we sacrificing our culture and heritage as we enter the age of rapid reform and industrialization? The ironically named Old Ager and New Ager movements soon emerged, with mostly poor and rural folk defending tradition, cultural heritage and workers' rights on one hand, and wealthy progressive industrialists crying for liberal and pro-equality reforms and developments on the other. It is no surprise that the conflict of Galician identity has also become synonymous with socio-economic struggle. Okay, schließen. So, mit wem, was haben wir denn da? The Antrim Daily. The New 5-Point Plan. Das will ich gerade nicht lesen, Entschuldigung. Mit wem reden wir denn als nächstes? Oh, warte, du hast noch einen Safe. Ah, den können wir nicht untersuchen oder öffnen. Was haben wir denn da? Nichts Spezielles. Ich will noch ein bisschen umschauen, bevor ich mit meinem nächsten möglichen Opfer spreche. Ich würde gerne hier reingehen. Ah, was haben wir denn da? Another heinous act of animal cruelty shocks denizens of Frankfurt. The warm morning sun was not enough to protect Mercedes Aguilar from freezing in horror as she turned the corner of Axley Avenue while taking her young boy to school. The little side street was blocked by a dead peacock with a severed head. This was the third such occurrence in a recent bizarre wave of animal cruelty, mere weeks after the raccoon incident. The constabulary no longer believes them to be unfortunate accidents but deliberate acts intended to terrorize the otherwise quaint town of Frankfurt. It's those bloody New Agers, I tell ya, Miss Aguilar reported to us. The robber barons trying to scare away our kids like at Rose Hill. However, Stanley Hornberger, the local representative of the pro-New Ager People of Peace Party, denounced such accusations. A beautiful peacock surely represents a New Ager, and the removed head is intended to send a negative message against us. Whoever the perpetrator is, these bizarre incidents are further dividing the local community, giving both New Agers and Old Agers yet another excuse to blame and detest the other and prolong our suffering. Okay, die haben echt Probleme in dieser Stadt. Oh, was haben wir da hin? Key Faction, noch mehr Hintergrundstory. Ich will jetzt einen Schlüssel finden. Timeline. Oh, ich kann nicht weiter rüber, okay. Sir! Ah nein, warte, noch ein Tisch. You found the key! Take it! Yes! Das ist interessant. Was werden wir da drinnen finden? Da muss irgendwas drin sein. Ah, lauf rein bitte. Jawohl. Ah! Is your child school breeding old agers? Would you let your child play with backward Philistines? Would you teach them traditionalist propaganda? Would you cripple their potential, then violate a school to do that? Boycott Rose Hill High. Don't let your child mix with old ages. Harte Wort. Oh, was haben wir safe? Oh. Nur das Bild von einem Mädchen im Safe. Das ist schon fast creepy. Okay, aber wenn man auch immer das Zimmer gehört, das gehört wahrscheinlich im Host, nehme ich mal an. Ah, da haben wir nochmal welche hübsche Sprache. Ach, wir müssen zuerst die hübsche Ansprache. Hello. Ekaterina.
Tell me about yourself, Ekaterina.
Myself? What is so special about me?
Why don't you tell me?
Well, alright then. I'm Ekaterina.
Pleasure to meet you.
Likewise, I suppose. Is there anything else you needed?
Do I detect a slight accent?
Oh, I'm not from Galicia. Is what you are referring to?
Where are you from then?
Otwigerstown. It is one of the small nations to the east. Most people have not heard of it.
What brought you to Galicia?
My parents and I moved here when I was very young, pursuing a better life, more opportunities or something like that. I never inquired much.
And has Galicia proven a better place?
Oh, what difference does it make? Wherever it's what you make out of it.
I guess you're right.
I suppose I'm just more interested in moving forward with my life, rather than dwelling on the past.
Oh, I understand. I feel the same.
Well, look at us getting along, so unlike the people of this country.
I know, right?
Honestly, though, I don't much care for the local politics or squabbles of Galicia. Like I mentioned, I'm not from here. Was nehmen wir denn jetzt?
I don't care much for it either. Jawohl.
Life is too short to worry about pretty squabbles of others. Petty, not pretty. For all you know, I could die this very night from a heart attack.
You could, definitely.
Indeed. So why waste my time worrying needlessly about the inevitable... Das kann ich nicht aussprechen. Ich weiss, was es heisst, aber ich kann das Wort einfach nicht aussprechen. That's one of the reasons I found biology so fascinating. Mother Nature is not very motherly in that respect. It is the strongest child that survives.
A sad reality, indeed.
Sad? Only us humans deem it so and describe it emotionally. Only us humans think of our survival in emotional terms. That's why animals are so much better to study, so much simpler.
Animals have emotions too.
You can't prove that.
You can't disprove it either.
Undoubtedly, animals are very complex, but the more we study them, the more we can explain via simple biology, bodily functions, chemicals, reflexes.
What? You can't explain the soul, baby.
Well, nobody has found one yet, and trust me, many looked. I read some reports on dissecting of animals to learn what is inside. It's interesting to see what makes them tick.
Morbid curiosity?
Something like that.
That's a little disturbing.
Any less than setting things on fire like some of the Galicians do. There's just so much we can learn from dissecting biological beings. Sadly, our society shuns on doing that with other humans.
Okay, sie ist recht creepy. For good reasons.
Preach these. Das kann ich nicht aussprechen. Vorurteile, das sind scheiß Worte auf Englisch. And simple fear. Knowledge once again. Well, hold back. Why is it such a big deal? Aren't humans just another type of animal after all?
Ja, genau. No, humans are above the animal kingdom.
Then even a bigger reason to study actual dead humans if you wish to truly understand them, no?
Okay, yeah, the ultimate. Okay, yeah, yes, you're right.
So, you agree we should studying a dead human if you get a chance?
Yes, scientific knowledge and medical improvements justify it.
Interesting viewpoint, something to take in consideration. Why are you asking me all those questions anyway? Is this some kind of an interview? In a way. Well, I don't much care for interviews, so enough about me. Something else I wanted to ask. Hello. Jetzt fährt's wieder von vorne an. Okay. Ja, okay. Wir gehen mal weiter. Wir haben ein bisschen erfahren über sie. Sie ist... Ja, eine interessante Person. Einen Schluck Wasser nehmen, so viel Text zum Reden die ganze Zeit. Ich hoffe, es ist auch irgendwie ein bisschen interessant zum Zuschauen. Also, halt wirklich nur für Leute, die sich für Story interessieren. Und wer picken wir next? Ah, warte, in der Küche mal schauen, wer da noch so gesehen ist. Oder da unten. Ja, warte, wir müssen zuerst da unten. Ah, was haben wir denn da? Jawohl, sicher werden wir F. Kohl. Women, know your place, it's not enough factories. F. Kohl. Haben wir... Also wenn ich den sehe... Der wäre jetzt so mal ein potenzieller zum Locked Stuff Storage. Okay. Vielleicht finden wir den Schlüssel auch noch einmal. Da haben wir gerade nichts mehr zum Anschauen. Oh, Spiegel. What are you listening to on your lunch break? Tune in for daily broadcast with the Thatchers. Your Galicia, your news, not for those dirty immigrant ears. Hey, also was da abgeht. Ah, warte, da haben wir noch nicht geschaut. Military Parental Rights. Okay, aber ich will jetzt den Schlüssel noch finden. Wo haben sie auch den Schlüssel versteckt? Da nicht. Was haben wir denn da noch? Ich glaube, das haben wir jetzt dann gleich alles angeschaut, die Berichte. Ah. Ja, Steuerung ist halt... Wir laufen diesen imaginären Blöcken entlang. Es ist halt aus der ISO-Perspektive, aber ja. Wo könnte denn der Schlüssel sein? Ah, das haben wir auch schon angeschaut. Da hinten haben wir auch alles angeschaut. Ja. Okay. Das ist Katharina, oder?
How do you do?
Ah nein, Ophelia Thatcher. How do you do? I don't believe I have made your acquaintance. Let me introduce myself, proper. Go ahead. My name is Ophelia Thatcher. Yes, those Thatchers. Being born as a Thatcher has put much expectations on me, as you can imagine. I was lucky enough to be admitted to one of Antrim's top private schools and spend what little time I have left attending many different courses. I have some questions. Yes. Was fragen wir dir denn da? What kind of course are you involved in? The Scala, for starters, anything that lets me interact and help our community. Hallo? Interact? Ah nein, ich habe das dritte Frage, egal. Indeed, my mother has been pushing me to get my name out there as much as possible. It's important for the Thatchers' name and the future. The future? As I'm sure you are aware, these are turbulent times for Galicia, especially with the 5-point plan just on the horizon, adding to the pressure. Tell me about the 5-point plan. The 5-point plan will soon be unveiled by the new Prime Minister, trying to get the new ages and old ages talking again. If both sides approve it, it could finally lead to a peaceful resolution of the turmoil. I do believe I saw a newspaper clipping and explaining it in more detail. If you are curious, suffice to say a lot hinges on its passing. Sounds like it's pretty important. Exactly, it creates a platform for open, peaceful discussion, and a lot of other things could be brought up on such a platform as well. With the influence of our radio and the Thatcher family's recognition, we could really push for the plan's acceptance and force some more progressive ideas onto the agenda as well.
Isn't that manipulation?
Oh, I wouldn't say that. We would be reshaping some of the plan's points for greater benefit of Galicia after all.
Sounds like propaganda.
I don't believe Galicians would disagree about all those immigrants, but more importantly, well, have you noticed how all the executives and board members of Gal Media are male?
Not really.
Most people don't, which is exactly the problem. Our society would not allow a woman in such a high position, yet we never stop to think why. My mother is just as ambitious and talented as my father, yet she will always have to hide in his shadow.
Okay, but if she's just as ambitious and talented, why hasn't she tried to move up?
She attempted to attend a board meeting once. The puzzled man thought she came to deliver mail or some sort and was asked to bring back the quarterly reports on the way back. You see, my mother is part of the old generation, the dinosaurs, those whose mind will not change. As sad as it is, there is little hope for her ever moving up the ranks. But me, I still have a chance. I can shape the new wave. I can bring change, equality. Or at least that's what my mother hopes.
You don't seem to believe in yourself.
It's not that I don't believe, it can't be done. It's just that, well, I'm just not sure if that is wise to be more vocal. It is very dangerous to get involved like that.
Why is it dangerous?
Between the old and new ages, either side you pick, you will have enemies, strong enemies, the kind of enemies that don't like powerful female speakers arguing against them. And I'm not even sure if Galicia is ready for such abrupt changes just yet.
Ich sehe gerade, wir sind schon recht über die Zeit. Mal schauen, ob wir das Gespräch noch fertig bringen in den nächsten paar Minuten. But if you don't speak out for those who cannot speak for themselves, who will?
Well, even risking potential backlash from the community, it's not something that can happen overnight. Progressive reform takes a lot of time and you need to wait for the proper moment.
Perhaps the proper moment is now?
You think so? With all the economic and cultural conflict going on, is it wise to risk further dividing the political scene with more radical social ideas?
A heated and violent debate over Galicia's future means the political scene is already unstable enough. You should hold off on pushing more radical agendas until a better time.
Ich glaube, das nehmen wir. You've given me something to think about. But I mustn't take you from other patrons with my grim subjects on such a hopeful evening. Please, do go mingle.
I'll come back later. Bye.
Okay. Es nimmt Formen an, wir erfahren so viel. Es ist recht geil, dass man immer gerade so viel Hintergrundgeschichte erfährt über die einzelnen Personen. Müsst ihr schauen. Ophelia. Okay, wir haben sie davon überzeugt, dass es momentan nicht gut ist. Oh Mann, es wird so schwer auszusuchen, wen wir umbringen. Okay, das wäre es auf jeden Fall bereits wieder gesehen. Zweite Episode von Postmortem. Ich hoffe, es macht euch Spass. Ich hoffe es wirklich. Es ist gut spielen. Freut mich, so viel Story zu haben. Also, bis zum nächsten Mal. Messi und tschüss zusammen.